Hello, FlossTube Stitchers, and Happy New Year. I can't believe it's been over a month since, well, like 4 weeks since my last in-person video, but you know, holidays happened. So I thought I'd start today's video with some cards I received. And the first one is from Marcia C. I love seeing cross-stitch in unexpected places. So I just thought that was really cute that the gifts were stitched. And then the next one was from Celia W. And it kind of has that vintage Santa plus a scrapbook vibe. So I thought that was really pretty. And he could probably be framed, or I could sit him out amongst my Santas next year in a shelf display or something. So I thought that was really cute. And then this is a card that I got from Kathleen R. And this is her dog, Chrissy, doing a timed 100-yard run. It's called a Fast Cat trial, and CAT stands for Coursing Ability Test. And she said her dog just loves the game, and she's actually airborne in this shot. It's so cute. And then here's two more pictures on the back. There's another dog in that picture, Emily, it says. And anyway, I love it. She looks like she's maybe going to end up dirty after that run, but look at her face. She really does look like she's having fun. So that was a nice surprise. Kathy had won something from my channel, so that's what she sent back with a thank you. Okay, then my vintage stitch. I know I've included this in a few slideshow videos before, but I checked my notes and I've never actually showed it on the channel. So this is You and I and Friends, called White Christmas. I did it a number of years ago, and as you can see, I don't always date and initial my things, so I don't know. It's been a while. The chart is still available because Ruth Sparrow from Twisted Threads bought the rights to their charts. So this is how the chart comes, with just the chart folded in there. And my only kind of feeling about these charts is that we have 3 of them in stock because I have 2 models and one of their designs that I'm currently working on, or it was patriotic, so I'm not working on it right now, but I did order 3 of them. But I don't think people would buy it without seeing the model, because I think she's using their original pictures, but it's in a different format, and I think they're kind of small and maybe not real clear. So I would love to order more of their things, but I don't think they would sell that well without, you know, seeing the model. But I did it on a 32 overdyed linen, which I don't remember what it is, and I want to say it might be something discontinued, so I hate to say the color name. And then I just did it with Ecru 822. This was before I started using 3865, because this is a little more of a yellower off-white, so it might be 712 or Ecru. But anyway, I love it. I love the funky little fat reindeer, and it's in my reindeer display right now in my living room, and I did not show that in the Christmas video because I had mostly snowmen and reindeer, and I decided to do another little home tour when I rearrange and just have the snowmen out, because were any of you missing seeing all those little green and white trees I bought? Yeah, they're in the living room. So I didn't show those with my Christmas stuff. So I thought I would show that now, get you primed to see that next week. And then I told you that I would show you these monthlies as the months came around, even though they all came in at the same time. These are both series were loaned to us by Carol Leonard. Well, donated for a bit of time. And this is a Bent Creek series monthly snapper. So this is the January. He's so fat and adorable. We also have the entire series done by Kate Fulton that's on display, and I don't think I have a good picture of that. It's under glass. I'm gonna have to try harder to get a better picture of that so I can show it. Maybe I'll try to put it in the background next time so you can at least see it. It's kind of hanging high up on the wall right now, but anyway, so that's really cute from Bent Creek. We have those charts in stock. And then this is from the Primrose Cottage Stitches 9-patch series, and this is January. So it has the trees, the snowflakes, and the little hat. So I love the color she picked for the background. And all of her models are done on Aida, usually 14 count. So if you do it on a higher count, they'd be smaller. And these could almost be ornaments if you did them on a higher count fabric. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my stitching for the past month or so. I know I worked on a couple other whips, but I really want to concentrate today talking about my NYE12x12, the New Year's Eve. So this was my second year participating. And, you know, I slapped my hand and said, you can't do 12 new starts because you're going to do 29, well, less than 29 because I have a few finished projects I can show, but I'm going to do freebie February again. So I'm going to have a lot of new starts. So, and then but I didn't want to do 12 whips, you know, because that's like eating leftovers every day. So I decided, well, and the other thing is I couldn't do them all on New Year's Eve because we were hosting brunch. So I knew I was going to get a later start. I probably didn't start stitching till like 5 o'clock or something. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to do all 12. So I decided ahead of time that I was going to do, am I looking in the right place? Because it's been a month and I totally forgot how to do this on camera. I hope I'm looking at the right place. Anyway, I'm not going to cut that out. I'll just leave that in there, keeping it real. So I decided I was going to do 6 whips on New Year's Eve, because that kind of made sense, 6 whips from the previous year. And then on New Year's Day, I would do 6 new starts. And come on, people, you know, my pieces are always smaller. I don't pick gigunda things to start, especially for this series of stitching. So anyway, the first one I picked was, oh, and you can tell that I didn't completely plan it because I have 2 from Darling and Whimsy and 2 from Heart and Hand, and I don't normally use the same designer more than once. I usually kind of vary it a little more, but I couldn't help myself. So the first was Quirky Quaker Jack-O-Lantern from Darling and Whimsy, and I did use the colors that they called for. Wait, did I? No, I think I picked a different black, but it was Bittersweet and anyway, mine doesn't look quite as bold because I only did 1 strand on a higher count fabric. Alrighty. So he or she is finished. This little jack-o'-lantern is finished. So put that in the pile of how am I going to finish these? All right, then the next one I worked on was a freebie February from a previous year. And I thought, you know, I really don't have any business starting new unless I finish some of these older ones. And let me make that picture a little bit bigger. So, because this was a free chart, there was no color picture to go by. So this was from her website. It's called Be Merry from the Scarlet House. And if you're familiar with her designs on her freebies, she always puts a lot of dogs because she likes dogs. So I hadn't gotten very far last time. So I did work on this I worked on this previous, prior to New Year's Eve, but I got quite a lot more done. So that's what I have. So I have to do the tree trunks, 1 more dog, and fill in black in the plaid fabric at the bottom. So I'm almost done, probably 1 more night, and I'll have that finished. And those 2 projects, yes, okay, I knew I had project written down here someplace. I watched 6 Hallmark Christmas movies. Don't judge me. They are perfect to stitch by because you don't even have to look up hardly to pay attention to the plot. And also, don't you think the Hallmark movies have gotten better? there's different people. Maybe some of these were Lifetime. I can't remember now. No, I think they were all Hallmark, but I do think the movies have gotten a little bit better. The music's better. There are some different plots. And anyway, I had fun, and I know I had more of a variety last year, but that took some planning. And this was easier because I already had them taped, saved, DVR'd. Okay, so for those two projects, I was watching Project Christmas Wish. All right, then I moved on to a movie called A Season for Family. And the first one I worked on, I guess I forgot to bring the color picture with me. But I was working on the smaller design from the Seasonal Chalk series. This was one of Priscilla's designs for Kathy Haberman at Hands On Design. And I think I filled in the green leaf. Alrighty. And then the next one I worked on was Doodles Thanksgiving. And I only had the medium shade of that teal in the pumpkin. And so what I did was another color in the pumpkin and part of a leaf. And this is on the, no, this is not on the suggested, wait, is it on the suggested fabric? No, I don't think so. The suggested fabric was antique lace from Seraphim, and I'm doing it on, do I remember, is it feldspar? Shoot. Oh, and that's upside down. Now I'm confused because I think I have another, I think this is feldspar, but I have another feldspar coming up, which coincidentally is another heart and hand. Her colors must look good on that color. But anyway, I probably mentioned it last time, so we can figure it out for the next time I show you. Okay, then the third movie I watched on New Year's Eve was Magic in Mistletoe. And the first project I worked on, you know, I almost forgot that I started this. And I meant to look up what year I started these things, and I didn't take the time. But anyway, this is Rovaris bees. And yes, I already did another bee, but this is a welcome. And I love all the bee things. I love all of their bee things. I'm going to do all of them eventually. So I didn't get much done. I think I just did some little bees here and there. So, but just a refresher. So I had the welcome done and the bee skeps and some of the bigger bees. I just was adding the little bees, you know, because they're so fussy with just 2 stitches of this and 3 stitches of that. So sometimes that's a pain, but I told myself it was only for an hour, so it was good. And then the last whip I worked on was Winter Notes from Shepherd's Bush, and I'm doing the full picture. And previously I only had the snowmen and the snow at the bottom, part of the snow at the bottom, I think. And then, so I just put the house in. I love that color. It's Williamsburg by Weeks Dye Works. It's so pretty, such a pretty red. All right. Then, New Year's Day, the first movie I watched was a long one, Time for Her to Come Home for Christmas. It was one of those Blake Shelton movies that he produced that was his mother's idea. It's kind of a cool story. I think this is the 3rd one in the series. And this project calls for feldspar. I had feldspar in stock a long time ago when I kitted this. I don't have it now, I don't think, but I had this kitted for the longest time. Why did I never start it? My goal is to have more meaningful themes for my Christmas stitching. And so I wanted some more nativities. And I thought this was so adorable when it came out. You know what my holdup was? Because I am so weird. I do not like ovals. I'm like this with ovals. I don't know why. I love squares. I love perfect circles. I like, what do they call that shape of a table, which is rectangular with rounded corners? Whatever they call that, I like that. I have a table like that. but I have an aversion to ovals. But then I thought, if you really look at the design, it can be a rectangle. So I forced myself to start it because I don't have to follow that. And once it's done, I'll never even remember that the original was shown as an oval. Then I decided that I really wanted the white to show up. Let's see, I'll show you this first. So I'm stitching with the 12 weight petite from Sulky, the white 1001. Because this is 32 count, and I didn't want it. Well, I'm using 2-ply for the rest of it because the designer used 2-ply. But the white, you know how weird white can be when you're stitching. So I just thought that would be easier to make sure it's nice and filled in. So, and I like the way it pops. So all I did was the star and some of the white. And I'm going to do the rest of it in floss. And I don't think it's going to bother me that the white is different. I don't think it's going to bother me. That's what I'm going with. Okay. All right. And then I also, during that time, worked on Quirky Quaker Gingerbread because I want to do a gingerbread theme in my kitchen next year. And I thought, oh, I'm already doing the quirky jack-o'-lantern, and then like, who cares? They're your own rules. You can do whatever you want. So I did work on this. I didn't get all that done in an hour, people. I'm not that fast. But I worked on it 2 more nights and I finished it. He's so cute. He looks a little burnt around some of the edges, but it's just the way the dye lot worked when I was stitching it. And I'm like, you're going to be okay with it. It's fine. All right, the next movie was Our Christmas Mural. And, this wasn't part of New Year's Eve, but hello, it's another You and I and Friends. Isn't that funny? This is what their original packaging looked like with the, not library envelopes, but you know what I mean, with the clasp on it. So that's how they used to do it. But you can see it's a big picture, but the designs are little, and you can't even see them that well. So this has a snowman and a Santa, and I'll probably do the Santa eventually, but I just worked on the snowman. So I have, in my stitching this past month, I did 3 different designers twice, which is not what I would plan if I was thinking straight. So that's how much I got done. And I'm doing 1 strand on 32 count using the, well, you know, I always change my white to something that's more white, not over dyed. So this is probably just black and white floss right now. I can't remember what else it calls for. And yeah, Christmas Friends, it's called, if I didn't say that. Okay, then, oops, that's the chart. Then I've had this on my mind. I haven't had it, but I've had this on my mind for a long time because I just love her wordplay series and I need more for Easter. So I was a little bit intentional of what I was stitching, that I wanted something for these different themes that I knew I could use some more. I could use some more bunnies. I could use some more gingerbread. Snowmen are always a good idea, that sort of thing. And I had this scrap of 32 count lilac Lugana. So I decided I'm gonna position him up, her, whatever it is. I think it's a her. She's holding a flower. Or maybe it's a little boy giving a flower to his date, but anyway. But I'm gonna do another, possibly Easter or spring on the bottom. But anyway, so yeah, so this is 1 strand and I'm very pleased with the coverage. Now, I like the whole design, I really do, but when I'm just looking at this lettering, the white accent isn't on it yet. And I don't know why that's starting to bother me. If I were smart, I would probably just keep stitching and not think about it anymore. But I also noticed that like this is kind of in caps and that's not. And I was thinking of recharting that so that those were capital letters and then the IT were next to each other, so it still came down to the same line at the bottom. So I may think about that for a while. I may not go back to this one right away until I decide exactly what I'm going to do. I don't mean to change things. Usually I'm stitching something because I really like it to start with, but and maybe once I get the white around it, I won't think about that anymore. But it was starting to bother me. I think I was working on this last night, and I thought, you know, I could always rechart that. So I'm not going to put the white in until I decide. I keep putting my white board aside too. Okay. Then the last movie I watched was called A Biltmore Christmas, and I got this out of my stash. I can't sell this to you anymore, but you can get it chart only. It came as a kit, but you can get it chart only from 123 Stitch, I'm sure. I didn't look it up, but they have a lot of the other ones from this series done as charts. So I think that's really cute. I like that it doesn't actually say 4th of July, so I can keep that out in my family room with all my other patriotic stuff for, you know, for the whole year. And what I got done, you know, I was going to change the fabric because this is that 30 count Perman linen, probably. Yeah, it's the 30 count linen, and it's really stiff and it wreaks havoc on your floss. But there's, let me show you the back side. You can kind of see where it was folded. It kind of got light. So that's the back side. It's not as noticeable on the front, but where it shows up on the front, I think there's going to be stitching. So I thought, you know what? I probably wouldn't use it for anything else. I can't sell this piece of fabric. I might as well just use it. So I'm using definitely a 24 needle to make sure that I'm making a little bit bigger hole in the fabric as I'm going through, because I hate having to use short strands. And this is, I'm using 2 strands. There's nothing worse than 2 fuzzy strands. So I'm just kind of dealing with it. It'll be done in no time because it's really, you know, a small project. So, but I feel good that I'm using the fabric that was in there. And you know what, when I'm done and iron it, if I can still see faint lines of where it's faded, I'm just gonna spritz it with coffee and dye over it. So it's gonna be fine. But I've had this for a while. I know I can't use it as a shop model, but at least if you can still get it, I have a reason to show it. Then my last project of NYE12x12 was from the 2022 Christmas Ornament magazine. I have plenty of these left. I don't know what happened. Every year I get a dozen less magazines. I used to get 72, and then I went down to 60, and then I went down to 48, and then I went down. I guess people are getting them with their subscriptions, or maybe some of my people that have been getting them for 20 years aren't even stitching anymore. I don't know, but I have a lot of 22s left over, and I thought I'm gonna and they have I think they have more than just this. Oh yeah, I think they have 2 pages that have reindeer on them. So, and I picked a few other ones out of here. There's a little Stitcher bird that I like. There's multiples in here that I really like. So I'm gonna stitch a bunch of stuff out of this magazine. So I'm doing this one, and it's by Century Farm Stitching, Cindy Lash. And let's see, I didn't look at, I forgot what fabric it called for. Misty Blue Cashel. And this was a piece that I had in my stash that's a discontinued R&R color from years ago, and I just had this random, remember when they were like really messy and these marks wouldn't come out, and it was really cool. Their fabric doesn't look like that anymore, but I was glad I had this piece in my stash, and I thought it was a good match to the original color. And as long as the reindeer shows up on it, I knew everything else would show up. So that's how much I got done on the reindeer. So, alrighty, so that was all my stitching for the New Year's Eve project. Over the holidays, I also finished this. This is the free poinsettia from Prairie Schoolers website. I'm not sure it's there now because they've changed it periodically, but I still have a paper copy. So if anybody needs this, let me know privately and I can send it with an order. But this was their poinsettia freebie, and I had started it for freebie February a number of years ago, maybe the first year that I did it, and all I had was part of one leaf. And I'm like, seriously, you need to finish this because it's so cute. I just love their kind of graphic style. I love that they can have such a detailed picture with only 4 colors. So there's movement in the leaves, even though there's only 2 colors of green there and some negative space. So anyway, that was fun. So I finished that as well. All right. The low today was 5 degrees. It's cold. That's why I'm wearing something with the partial hand covering here too. So for my giveaway this week, I am going to give 4 colors of floss that have to do with the weather. So from Classic, I have Frosty and Snowball, and from Weeks, I have Icicle and Snowflake. So tell me something about snow. It could be good or bad. So do that in the comments, and then I'll draw a winner. You'll get all of these. Then the Christmas video, I put everybody's name in a hat. I always say that, but it's really a bag. But I put all their names according to how many usable pictures they sent in for my video. And Marla Arbet was the name chosen, so I'll let her know. And she's going to get a $25 gift certificate for the shop. So that takes care of that. And then we got a bunch of new stuff, but I'm going to save some of it for next week because the video is getting a little long. So I'm just going to show you the autos and a new fabric. So I've been waiting for this fabric for a couple months, I think 4 months maybe, even though they said it was new. I don't know why it wasn't in stock. Maybe they were still waiting for it from overseas. But anyway, this is a Zweigart Lugana Murano. Lugana has different names. And so for some reason in the past couple of years, they started calling the 32 count Murano again, instead of just Lugana. And it matches up to, what does that say? 644. And it's 32 count. I said that already. It's called Sahara Dust. I think it's really, really pretty. I'm going to pick something out in the near future to do on this because I think it's such an interesting neutral. So that's that. And then the Bent Creek Auto came while I was closed. My neighbor took pity on the box because it was sitting on the sidewalk during a very rainy period. And so he could see that the sign on the door said that I was closed for the week, so he took it into his business. But anyway, so these were the 2 new ones. Christmas Flower House and Pop of Christmas in that series that's done on the 20 count linen with the pearl cotton. I'll have to do this for next year too because it has that cute little gingerbread. All right, then Heart and Hand had imprints, Love and Heart. I love how they show these together on the same. I think they look really cute together. They look really well balanced, so I'll probably do that one too. Then my framer usually does the collector's hearts. Every once in a while there's one that just doesn't, suit her taste, but she hasn't seen this one yet, so I don't know if she's going to do it, but I'll do it if she doesn't do it because I think it's really cute. They weren't all spoken for, so I still have some left. Then Primrose Cottage, Warm Winter Wishes, and Sip, Stitch, and Repeat. And those were from their last Sip and Stitch box. That's so cute. I think I'm going to do that and change the green to blue so it goes in more of my rooms. Although I could do it this way and leave it in my craft room, but come on, it stays here. My models stay here most of the time anyway, so it doesn't matter what color I use. And then Valentine's Day Quaker. And then Stitching with the Housewives. Family is a standalone chart. This is a new series called Kitchen Chalk, and this is Hello Valentine. I love those roses. They're so sweet. And the monthly weigh-in for March. So that's it. I'll show you more new charts next time. Hopefully some more progress on all of the stitching that I've done in the past month. I'll have a few more finishes, I hope, and probably another start because you know it's time. And yeah, so have a great week and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.